Whether it's Jordan Peterson or the Weinstein brothers or Peter Thiel, there is this strain of pseudo-intellectualism on the right that uses essentially word vomit in order to make themselves sound smart to gullible people. It's how we got the manosphere. And J.D. Vance just gave us another great example of it in relation to the Abrigo Garcia deportation thing, and J.D. Vance criticizing Wright in this tweet that I'm about to read to you, due process. He says in this tweet, to say the administration must observe due process is to beg the question. What process is due is a function of our resources, the public interest, the status of the accused, the proposed punishment, and so many other factors. So let's break this down, right? Because he makes it sound like you're running a business and you need to like follow a bottom line or something. When he says the process that's due is a function of our resources, that's the courts. The resources that figure out if someone should be deported is the courts. And they should be funded to the point and be staffed to the point where they can do proper due process for everyone. Because remember, in the United States, the neat thing about our Constitution is it applies to everyone, not just the people you want it to. Next, he says, the public interest, as if due process should only be followed if people are paying attention or if J.D. Vance or Donald Trump decides it's in the public good to follow due process, which is insane because that's the opposite of what due process rights are supposed to do, right? The most guilty person is the person who should get due process rights to ensure that if they are guilty, they are punished. That's just how due process works. The next one he says is the status of the accused. The only way to decide the status of the accused is if you go through the due process. If you're not doing finding of fact, if you're not doing hearings, and if you're not giving them legal representation, you don't know the status of the accused, right? If you mean the immigration status of the accused, it literally doesn't matter because the Constitution, the thing that we predicate our government off of, says it doesn't matter. If you're too lazy to do the basic job of the Constitution, you shouldn't be running for office in the United States. Next, he says due process should be predicated on the proposed punishment, as if somehow low-level crimes are the only ones. I don't even understand. Is the argument that low-level crimes are the ones that should have due process? High-level crimes, because they're extra bad, should have due process? If we feel like it? He's literally arguing for a vibes-based judicial system, and then so many other factors, which just gives him the wiggle room to say, I'm too lazy to do due process, and I'm going to use these smart words to tell you that authoritarianism is an easier way to get rid of brown people in the United States. And that's why we're protesting on the 19th. Get out there, do your thing, find a way to escalate after protesting, but get out there and use your voice this weekend for our next round of protests. Cool? Cool.